a lot of our sales were surrounded by in-person markets. One year we got asked to be in the Bryant Park Holiday Village here in New York City, which was life-changing. If it was 10,000, we had like 27,000 sales in 85 days.
Wow.
It was almost 3 times the amount of revenue, sales, and volume that we had done in our whole entire existence as a business.
Jeez. How do you maintain through that? I mean, hello. Welcome to another knowledge bomb episode of Lead to Greatness, where we believe in helping others reach their greatest potential and together change the world. Today on Lead to Greatness, we have Chris Bilyk.
And if this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of these amazing episodes. And if you're on iTunes, go ahead and rate the podcast and leave a review. That helps get the word out to great leaders and entrepreneurs like yourself.
Please help me welcome Chris with Building a Brand of Gratitude.
Cedric Francis, and you're listening to Lead to Greatness.
So my name is Chris Bilyk. I started State of Gratitude during the pandemic in May of 2020, like just after it had started. I was working what we call like a sober job at the time, working at a hotel. And when the pandemic hit, I lost my job, and I had kind of just like adopted this phrase of like constantly telling people to live in a state of gratitude no matter what was going on in their lives. And when we got those stimulus checks for $1,200, I decided to myself, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this stimulus check and I'm going to print some t-shirts with it. And then we're going to allocate portions of our proceeds to helping people who were new to recovery from alcoholism, substance abuse through the formation of grants and financial aid and things like that. It just kind of grew organically that way. You know, somebody was like, you should make a hat, you should make a tank. Why don't you make this? Why don't you make that? And I was just like, all right, kept running with it. And now it's kind of flourished into what we are today. We host wellness retreats around the world once a year. We have a full-blown clothing brand, and we also have jewelry, accessories, you name it. We've probably put our name on it at some point or another. Growing up, middle class upbringing, I didn't really have to need for much, always had everything that we needed growing up. And, you know, I just became really, really good at kind of like wanting to play like this like bad boy facade character at the same time. So I would live like this double life where I'd be like really good at school, teacher's pet, and then like behind closed doors, I was like a complete torment.
Right.
And I caused a lot of like, you know, a lot of trouble like at home, like with personal relationships and things like that. And I went off to college, you know, just kind of like continued that same sort of cycle, you know, acting one way in front of some people and acting another way in front of others. Eventually that caught up with me. And then I was eventually just one way in front of everybody all the time. And that wasn't necessarily the best version of myself that I wanted to bring to the table. Got a few DUIs throughout the course of my life, was, you know, just kept thinking that like I was never the problem. It was always the circumstance. It was this, it was that. And it kind of just like, it led me down this really, really dark path until this one point where I had gotten 3 DUIs. I had to make a decision as to whether or not I was going to go to a 30-day inpatient treatment center or I was going to go to jail for 30 days.
Wow.
And when the judge said it to me, I was like, neither. And but sure enough, you know, like after I kind of like came to my own senses, I realized that like the best option for me at that time was definitely going to be stepping away from my world or what I thought was my world and going and getting the help that I needed.
When did it shift when you said, you know what, Chris, this is not going to work, man, we got to get this together?
You know, there's something that like, I think that there's a common misconception when it comes to addiction that it's like a choice, which, you know, most people who have some sort of like addictive personality or addictive disorder to something, you know, once they start something, they can't stop doing it. Or, you know, like what they always say, you know, 1 is too many and 1,000 is never enough. Yeah. So like that, the ability to have one, if you can have one, that's it, game over. You'll never be at a point of satisfaction. And it's interesting because a lot of times I feel like people might look at me or might think, oh, he's in recovery, so he must have it together, or like he must know what's going on or be a certain way all the time. And, you know, I realized as I look back on a lot of things, especially in the last like 3 years, like there were periods of time. There was one period of time in particular that like I found myself, in a relationship that I wasn't really comfortable with, but I felt myself like going through the motions
Mm.
of it. And then I found myself like so enthralled in this other world and with everything going on around me that I felt like I was on a train. It
Mm.
was going 150 miles an hour.
Mm.
My name was on the side of the train. It was my train,
Wow.
but I had no idea who was driving anymore.
Jeez.
And I had
Wow.
no idea where I was going, and I had no idea what I was doing. It was like one of those moments where I kind of had like I stopped and thought to myself, I was like, oh wow, like what is going on? Are you being true to yourself? Like what is your intention in staying in this relationship? What are you trying to gain out of this? Are
Mm.
you trying to gain something? Are you really like, do you really care for this person? And
Yeah.
how? You know, are you being selfish and like in the way that you want to like to be in this relationship because you want, the affection, but you really like just want affection. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so I just think that like, especially with like addiction, I think it's like this ever evolving
It's a
like
constant
sphere,
fight.
I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like if it's not one thing, then it's something else. But it's like this, it's like a constant learning opportunity. But that's also life at the
Yeah.
same time too.
Yeah.
You know, that it also goes to say that like just because you're a normie or a normal person who can drink alcohol like a normal person, that doesn't mean that like you always have your like that everything's always perfect in your life either.
Yeah.
Life is all about suffering and how we deal with that suffering and how we move on from it and what we learn from it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I even think about even certain things, I never did any hard drugs, but like marijuana. And on last year, this recording is recording October 2025. And October 2024, I decided to cut out sugar, like junk food, cakes, and things like that. And one of the things, even with that, like I said, I never dealt with any hard drugs or anything. But I'll tell you one thing about just the sugar addiction, that it doesn't go away. I mean, even like it's so crazy. Like I go to a restaurant that I used to eat, get the dessert, or whatever. It's like every time, even a year later, the thoughts still come. It's like, man, I got to fight with this in my head. It's like I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just trying to be better. And I definitely can see that even from what you were sharing, I mean, about that thought. I mean, people see where you are, but it's like, man, it's a fight going on in here. It's a challenge. Gratitude. What does that mean to you as you have built this amazing brand around gratitude?
Gratitude for me has always been really, really kind of simplistic in the sense of just a positive mindset, and just constantly embodying that positive mindset
Yeah.
and constantly checking my intentions, checking
Mm.
myself what my intentions are. You'll hear me if you go on my website, you'll see the word intention written everywhere.
Yeah.
It's something that's really, really important to me because I think that a lot of gratitude has to do with, the way that we carry ourselves on a day-to-day basis
Mm.
and how we go about our day, whether we start that with like a gratitude list or we start that with like a list of things that we want to do and why do we want to do those things and like
Yeah.
how is that going to make us a better person? You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah.
Like taking sugar, for instance, it's like, how does it make you a better person? It makes you healthier. It makes you more present for, your loved ones. It makes you more present for your family, your friends, you're able to like do more. You can live
Yeah.
longer. You could
Yeah.
do all these different things that like, yes, you can look at it as like a selfish thing that like I'm doing this for me, but at the end of the day, it's like you're also bettering everybody else around you. Maybe.
Oh, that's so true. What are some of the things that you are intentional about? Like when you wake, like I'm intentional about making sure this happens.
Yeah, I mean, intention is everything. I mean, it comes down to like the way, for me at least, it comes down to like the way that we price our clothing. It
Mm.
comes down to like, how we make our bracelet wraps. It comes
Yeah.
down, all the things that I design and the things that I eat on a daily basis. Like, why am I eating this? Am I eating this because I want to eat like a good meal? Like, and I want
Mm.
fatty and like a cheat meal, or do I want to
Yeah.
eat something that's gonna like make me feel better and it's gonna make me feel fueled and powerful
Yes.
for the rest of the
Yes.
day?
Yes.
Um, Intentional about my day. It's like, okay, I'm gonna wake up early this morning. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna go to yoga class. Like that's intention. That's
Yeah.
intentional. the number of beads on one of our bracelets. It's intentional,
Right.
because it's like an average of all the different wrist sizes, like all in one, like
Uh,
everything is just kind of like I try my hardest to be as intentional about everything as possible
yeah,
and to care
yeah,
about it,
yeah,
And if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, yes, I'm finding places to like gain balance and to like gain, me time to do the things that I need to do.
mm,
But because of the fact that we're gearing up for one of the craziest holiday seasons I've ever had, my
mm,
life is quite out of balance right now.
yeah.
And I have to be mindful of that. And I have to like recognize that in myself and be like, Chris, you're working 12 hours a day every single day. Like, don't get upset. Like, take a deep breath. Like, you know that there's like an end point to this and you're going to be okay at the end point. So,
Mm,
like, put in the hours, put on a good movie, but make sure you also take the time to like when you take that shower, maybe go in that shower for an extra 15 minutes, Like
mm.
build in those little buffer times and windows. Maybe instead of eating like while I'm beating a bracelet, like why don't I just like go over and like sit somewhere else?
Yeah. I want to kind of talk about that because here it is. I mean, the holiday season is coming up, and you mentioned how business, how things are kind of crazy. I kind of want you to walk around, kind of walk us around that, and with the perspective, we're talking about, for you, some of the ideas, some of the expectations, some of the planning that's going there. And here's the thing: we all know about planning expectations. It's not always met. Things happen,
Right.
shipments, all kind of things. It's a chaotic world. I want you to kind of talk about that and how do you manage through all of the chaos?
You're gonna have to ask me again in about a month once everything is like all said and done because
Yeah.
every day it unfolds a little bit more.
Mm,
And I have to be very, very mindful of that. I have to be mindful of the fact that, like, what's going to happen today?
uh,
This is going to set. And what's going
uh,
to happen tomorrow? It's going to rise again. And it's going to be a new
mm,
day.
man.
Nothing is going to happen so catastrophic to the point that, like, I won't be able to recover. Maybe
Mm,
it will. And if it does, then so be it. But, I think that I'm resilient enough and I persistent enough that like I could find ways and avenues to make things work,
uh,
even when it doesn't seem like I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not. And one of the things that I'm
mm,
not very good at is online social media marketing. And
mm,
so I was like, rather than put a lot of time and energy into something that I'm not familiar with, why don't I do in-person pop-ups and go and
mm,
do pop-ups in like yoga studios and wellness gyms and artisan markets and things like that and showcase the brand there and talk about our mission and what we're doing.
uh,
And so that kind of became like a big bread and butter for us. And a lot of our sales were surrounded by in-person markets. One year we got asked to be in the Bryant Park Holiday Village here in New York City, which was life-changing. We went from like, let's say 10,000 sales in 3 years. And then in those 85 days, we did like 7,000 sales.
ooh,
10,000, no, if it was 10,000, we had like 27,000 sales in 85 days.
wow,
Like
wow.
it was almost three times the amount of revenue, sales, and volume that we had done in our whole entire existence as a business.
Jeez. How do you maintain through that? I mean, as far as like the scaling aspect of it, I mean, because that's a big range. I mean, what did you do?
I was ordering more inventory almost every single day and having it
Yeah.
shipped, delivered like 2 weeks later. I
Mm,
was running back orders on all of our outerwear. I
jeez.
was going home every night and beating bracelets until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Phew.
And then going back to work again at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And of course, the first things that would go would be the bracelets that I made the night before. And I'm like, "Ugh." And go home again, beat more bracelets, come back. It was like just didn't have enough of anything.
Wow.
But there's no way at that point that I could have expected to have sold what we did. But at the same time, even if I knew potentially what we could sell, I
Mm,
didn't have money to put something like that up front. So I had to just kind of like take each day one day at a time and just, hey, what do we need to do today?
uh,
What is the expectation for today? Can we set an expectation for today? Is that even
yeah.
possible?
Yeah.
I can set my expectation when I open my email account and I can tell you, oh, okay, we're working on today. I think that for the first 3 years of my business, even when going into the first Bryant Park holiday market, I was very type A, very controlling about the way
Mm,
it was run.
mm,
It wasn't until after that holiday market that I actually gave somebody else something to do and paid
mm.
them.
Yeah.
And it was a control thing. And it was like this, for me, it was this mask that I was everything, that I was the best at it all, and that nobody could do it better than me. No, it's not true. Very not. I've met different business owners across, my path, and some of them are just like, I am perfectly cool with doing this for the rest of my life.
Mm,
Stand here at this table, at this booth, and I will sell people product X, Y, or Z
yeah.
at this output level, and that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm cute with it.
Mm.
And I'm like, if I am at this booth in 10 years, drown me in the Hudson. I always strive to hit the next level. How do we get better? How do we
Yeah.
be better? How do we be better?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what our packaging looks like. Do you know what would make it even cooler? Let's do
Mm,
that.
yeah.
What would make this even cooler? Like, let's do that.
Yeah.
Always strive to do something that's gonna like really, break my idea or concept of what I think our limit is and like exceed it. A big part of that, and while, a big part of it is giving up control.
Mm,
And there are some things that I have given up control on. It's also hard because sometimes you also have to realize and understand or know when it's time to take back control.
mm,
And that doesn't necessarily mean like I'm going to take back control and I'm going to do it myself.
mhm,
It's more or less of like knowing in a weird way, not being like this like perfect person or anything, but
mm.
like knowing what your needs are as a business, but also like understanding like what your needs are as a person. It's just funny that you mentioned giving up control because yes, I give up control all the time. Like the minute that I start doing too much of something, I'm like, we need to find somebody who can do this,
Yeah.
Like if I'm doing a lot of it, if I'm doing a lot of packaging orders from online sales, like we need somebody here doing this that I can focus
Yeah.
on thing is.
Yeah.
I feel like once you get into the rhythm of it, it's all you want to do. It's like delegate. Let's delegate. Like
Yeah.
let's
Yeah. Yeah.
how do we delegate this to somebody else and teach them how to do it because that's when we really start to see growth. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's when we really start to see impact. Because all the people that
Mm.
we hire are people who are in recovery.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's
so
interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
everybody that does is sober, and everybody that like does something in one way, shape, or form is sober.
Wow.
It's like it's amazing in that
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
We get to not only provide assistance to people, but like we have actual real impact in the way that we are employing people to give them longevity in
Jeez.
the future. Give them real, like life experiences, work experiences that are going to benefit everybody in the future.
Uh, wow. Wow, Chris, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's definitely great. And I also know about, I mean, you do a lot of outreach projects as well, that's in line with, I want you to kind of talk about some of those things. Like I know you talked about the recovery and you talked about, some of the programs or some of the things that you're working with. Let's talk about some of those things.
I always tell people our whole business model is set up on like creating second chances,
Yeah.
right? If you want a second chance, if you want to do something,
Mm.
by all means, shoot me an email and let's try to find a way to make it happen.
Wow.
But then being that like I had somebody reach out, somebody who was helping us with these markets in the summer,
Mm.
and they wanted more of a full-time role.
Mm.
And she texted me one day and she's like, Chris, I want a full-time position at State of Gratitude, and I want to come up with a role that will be revenue driving,
Mm.
and we can build it out together. And I will work, X, Y, and Z number of hours. I will come to New York for the summer to learn like the ins and outs of the business. I will do the shipping. I will do everything to learn how this operation runs.
Wow.
And at the same time, we will like constantly look for ways to generate more revenue.
Mm.
And I was like, you can be our wholesale person. And she's like, I've never done wholesale before, but I will literally study it for the next 5 weeks in a row until I have it mastered.
Mm.
Like, you sold me, you know? I was like, go for it. Like, you know what you're gonna do. She drew up this like plan. It was like so detailed and elaborate. I was just like flabbergasted. I was like, okay, these are the types of people that, like, if you come to me and you show me, hey, I want a second chance, that is showing me that you want a second chance. That is motivation, that's drive, it was truly remarkable, and it was very inspiring for me because it showed me that somebody wanted to be a part of what we were doing,
Mm.
but even more so that, like, that they believed in themselves, at such a point in their lives, and like, and that sort of like drive within themselves and that sort of trusted faith and confidence in themselves can be felt, and it can be seen, it can be
Yeah.
heard,
Yeah.
so many others that surround them, and I'm very, very proud of her. She's still with us. She doesn't work in New York anymore. She's in New England, but she's just phenomenal. And I'm like, see,
Yeah.
she did it. You know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
really want something, just write something up, and show me how
Yeah.
it can be done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I will always say yes,
Mm.
always.
Man, how does that make you feel to be able to see that individuals want to be a part of the organization, and not only that, you're helping lives, changing lives, and, giving individuals a leg up. You're pointing to individuals, developing individuals. I mean, well, how does that feel?
It's scary.
Yeah.
I, you know, it's so rewarding and it's so scary at the same exact time. I
Yeah.
mean, we're still so new to it, I think, that it's still like it's still an interesting pill to swallow, because I'm like, oh, like, if I don't send payroll, they won't eat.
Yeah, that's it. You're right. That is a
And,
scary
like, if
aspect
I
of it.
don't send payroll, they don't have
Yeah.
a place to live. So it's
Yeah.
like, that's
Yeah.
not good. That's a
Yeah.
big weight. It's a big
Yeah.
responsibility to carry on yourself.
Yeah.
You're carrying a weight of, like, $200,000 for your inventory and for your booth expenses for the winter. And then you also couple that with, like, what is it called? With wages, every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, those numbers are really scary, especially
Yeah.
if you weren't expecting them,
Yeah.
if you're expecting to pay for half of it with a credit card and the other half of it in cash,
Mm.
and you get it by June that
Yeah.
everything has to be cash. You're like,
Yeah.
what? You need how much? By what day?
Uh,
Oh, you funny. You're so funny. You're like, that's not gonna happen. Like, oh no, sweetie, it's gonna happen. You better
Yeah,
figure it out.
that's a perspective that individuals don't always think about. I mean, because you have a responsibility, and that's bigger than you. It's like every decision you make. It's not making the decision just for my household, but making the decision with however many people you have on staff. That's them times if they have children, if they have a spouse. I mean, all those different things. That impact just gets so greater. How do you manage through that?
One day at a time. I try
Yeah.
not to think about it that way. I think it's a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
And there's really no need to think about it that
Right,
way.
right,
Um, you know,
right.
I mean, like, there's been times and there's been scenarios and there's been instances, where I found myself in a pickle, and,
Yeah,
like, just like, how am I going to, like, get myself out of this?
yeah,
To the point that, like, everybody else around me still has faith and trust in what we're doing.
yeah.
And, we do our best, and we are human. We recognize that. We try to do our best every which way we can. And, like,
Mm.
our
Yeah,
best has to be enough at some point.
yeah. Wow. Hey, Chris. So as you develop as a leader, as your organization is growing and developing, what are some practical leadership growth tips, tool, advice that you can share with the Lead to Greatness community to help us reach our greatest potential?
Well, expectations are great. They should be more like guidelines than
Wow.
anything else. I think that, like, the moment that you set expectations for yourself, for your business, for anything, you're literally probably you're digging your own grave at that point.
Mm, mm,
Uh, if I showed you the initial sketches of what I thought State of Gratitude was going to look like versus what it is today,
mm.
you'd probably laugh. And I think having an open mind is like it's just yeah, an open mind, like expectations, like they're all kind of like synonymous with each other. It's like break down the barriers of what you think is should be
uh,
and just open to anything.
uh,
And yeah, and that's basically the reason why like I think we've gotten to where we are because like I'm a pretty easygoing person. I'm not really gonna tell you no
mm,
for a lot of things
uh,
unless I like really don't like it.
uh.
You know, if you're like, Chris, like eat this shrimp. I'm gonna be like, no, I'm not going to eat your shrimp. Thank you so much. But
Great.
if you're like, hey, Chris, can we have shrimp at the party? I'd be like, will there be something else at the party aside from the seafood? They'd be like,
Uh,
yeah. And I'll be like, so sure,
yeah,
fine,
yeah.
whatever. It's not gonna like hurt me in either way, shape, or form.
As you continue on your journey, what do you see? What do you see the next 5 years looking like?
I think that in the next 5 years, there here are my guidelines.
Go
I
for
would
it.
love to see us. I would love to see us. I mean, we're getting our first like lofted warehouse space in Brooklyn. We're moving in on Wednesday. God willing.
Congratulations. Yeah.
You. Super cool, super pumped about that. I think in 5 years, I hope that we have just like a whole team of people, that we have just like this thriving company that is super supportive, that is very community driven, that is very positive, that is very fun, engaging, who we're proud to call like employees of the brand.
Wow, 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 wow. This is great. I definitely love what you're doing. And definitely for the Lead to Greatness community, really check out, what you're doing. Check out your website. I mean, it's pretty cool. And all the things that you are doing if someone wants to connect with you and what you're doing, where should they go?
I am a pretty grateful person.
Yeah.
I have that like mentality just kind of comes naturally for me. I
Mm.
don't know if it's because of the fact that like my apartment literally has thousands of things in it that say gratitude.
Oh, yeah.
And I mentioned this because of the power of subliminal messaging, even though it's not very
Yeah.
subtle, it's literally in my face.
Yeah.
I think that there's something to be said about the fact that you have something that serves as a constant reminder for you
Mm.
gives you the ability to kind of like accept that as your truth in the present moment, allows you to feel that sort of sentiment, to feel the gratitude, to feel the positivity, to feel those things
Yeah.
that, might otherwise be a little bit more difficult if you didn't have something that was constantly reminding you all the time. I always say,
Okay. What are some of the products that you have if you just want to, just kind of name a few?
so I'm wearing the French Terry pullover crew neck sweater.
Mm.
Uh, This is the only one I have right now.
Yeah.
The rest of them get delivered on Wednesday. This piece I'm actually really, really proud of because it is the first piece that I designed, created, and put together from scratch,
Wow.
picked down to like the fabric for, the cuffs, the fabric for the sleeves, the fabric for this, the dimensions, how long, how wide, how like close to the top, the seam, like
Yeah, yeah,
everything,
yeah.
everything. I picked it and I designed it,
Wow.
which is pretty cool. I had no idea it was that intensive. Uh, I would wake up in the morning and because they were like somewhere else, I'd wake up in the morning and I already have like 20 emails like to confirm this, confirm that. I'm like,
That's crazy. Wow. 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 Wow.
oh
Wow.
no. But yeah, and then we have these bracelet wraps. These are probably our most popular item right now.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I used to make these all by hand myself. I still do make some of them by hand, but they're about 1,000 seed beans on a single thread.
Wow.
And we engrave state of gratitude like on the bar itself.
Ah,
And the bar is made out of either 18 karat gold, rose gold, or not rose gold, 18 karat gold or silver.
okay.
And yeah, like I used to make them, and now we partner with a bunch of different like sober living facilities, halfway houses, to facilitate like the making of the bracelets. So I teach them how to make them, they teach others how to make them. It turns into this like second chance
Chris,
cycle.
that's pretty cool, man. You're doing some really, really great things, man. I love how your organization is built around people and, again, empowering people. Man, I think this is so awesome and so phenomenal. And I mean, not just the thing about it, not just, just a second chance, but giving individuals, an opportunity, because that's creativity. I mean, you're talking about creativity, and I mean, man, that can be a big change in someone, the creating their environment or a new environment through those type of things. So, Chris, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there some important words you want to share with the Lead to Greatness community once we get off? Say, man, I wish I would have mentioned this.
There's one thing that we should always live by, one thing that we should always do. We should always spread gratitude. We should always help others. I think that there's a lot of people in this world that could use a little bit of help, and it's oftentimes we overlook those people, and we shouldn't. We should take them into consideration and realize that they're humans just like us. So you can connect with us through Instagram, which is state.of.gratitude on Instagram, or our website is actually stateofgratitude.com. There's a little chat button in the bottom. You can send them a message. We have an email address. It's hello@stateofgratitude.com.
Okay.
Find us at holiday markets around the country, predominantly Boston and New York right now, but hopefully expanding to other ones in the near future.
Wow. Chris, thank you. On behalf of the Lead to Greatness community, I want to thank you so very much, Chris, for taking time out of your busy schedule and adding value to us all.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
We want to thank you for joining us today on the Lead to Greatness podcast. So remember, if you help others reach their greatest potential, together we can change the world. Peace.